everybody. Welcome to the Yarn and Ewe Girl Podcast. I'm Janine, your host, also known as Yarn and Ewe Girl. And this is my little channel where I talk about what I'm knitting, what I'm crafting, what I'm making, and generally what is obsessing me at the moment. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I really have such a great time spending this little bit of time with you guys every couple weeks. And I hope you're enjoying it as well. Today is Friday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and also my mother's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. She turns 74 today, so that's pretty exciting. We're going to go out to dinner tonight, so that'll be great. I don't really have anything for her. Sorry, Mom, didn't get you a present. We don't really do gifts anymore for birthdays. We did, when we were younger, but we don't really do gifts anymore for birthdays. So it's a nice dinner with the family tonight, and that is all that's really needed, just spending time with the people that you love. So that's what's on the agenda for this evening. It is the Groundhog Day here in the United States. I don't know if they celebrate Groundhog's Day in other cultures or other countries, but in the United States, Punxsutawney Phil comes out, and if he sees his shadow, he goes back into his hole, and apparently we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't see his shadow, then spring is on its way. So apparently this morning he saw his shadow, so we're in for some more winter. I don't know what it's like in your neck of the woods, but around here hasn't been super wintry at all. There's the general rain in the Pacific Northwest, but not a lot of cold, just a lot of wet, and it's been really weird. We had one day, basically Christmas, where it kind of snowed a little bit, but nothing else since then, so I'm not sure what Punxsutawney Phil's talking about, but maybe we're going to get a late freeze or something, but it feels really weird. Like the flowers are starting to come up from the ground and bloom, and yeah, it's strange. Maybe it's global warming or something like that. Our seasons are changing or whatever. So anyway, sorry. I thought I better readjust my chair. I have no really admin things to talk about today. I do want to apologize, though, because I have not been putting show notes in the Ravelry group for the last 2 episodes. I've been kind of lazy. It's not that I didn't want to or didn't have show notes. I just haven't put them in there. So, and I was thinking back, and I don't really think I was talking about anything absolutely that, people, like a lot of the stuff I was doing was my own stuff. There was the sock knitting machine stuff, so there's no real patterns or stuff for that. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. I will try real hard now because I'm actually going to be talking about patterns and different things today that I'm working on that are not my own. And so I'll try to put some notes in the description box at YouTube, and then some links to my website, and then I'll try to get notes over into the Ravelry group as well. We don't really have anything going on right now in the Ravelry group. There's no knit-alongs going on, no giveaways currently. So don't worry, you haven't missed anything. I know there's a lot of other people doing knit-alongs right now, and I am just trying to keep it simple. I've been putting a lot on myself, pressure-wise. A lot of things have been happening. I've been taking on a lot of projects and a lot of just extra work, like my husband likes to tell me. I've been working more in the pharmacy, and that's been taking up time, so I don't really have any knit-alongs that I am hosting currently at the moment. Not to say that that's not going to change. There might be something coming up in the future, but I haven't had anything that's sort of inspired me to do a knit-along for yet. I am, participating kind of in some other people's knit-alongs, but not really. Not really anything major. I did the Christmas Eve cast on. I showed you guys my socks last episode. I haven't really worked on those socks at all since then. I've not been in a sock place, and maybe it's because I have been going and doing the circular sock knitting machine and cranking out some tubes that I don't really feel like knitting socks at the moment. But it could also be that I'm kind of in a sweater place right now. I really want to knit sweaters. I really want to knit shawls and accessories right now, and I'm not kind of feeling the socks. But I did spend a little bit of time on the sock knitting machine since I last saw you guys. And I go down to this place in Portland called Fiber Rhythms, and I have basically rented time on the knitting machine, the sock knitting machine. I decided, I'm really glad I did this because I'm kind of impulsive and I want to buy something like right away. Like, oh, it looks so amazing and I can't wait and I just want to buy it. And my husband, he's like the voice of reason in our relationship. And he's like, why don't we just step back for a couple minutes and think about it? And then we'll just kind of like, you know, just really think about, do you really need this? Do you really want this? Are you going to use it? Like, he likes to analyze everything and I'm very impulsive. And sometimes that puts a little bit of a damper on the fun when you're looking at everything from every angle, but it's also realistically, the sock knitting machine, for me, it's very expensive. I can't see myself using it all the time unless I was going to be making socks to sell, which I don't plan on doing. So for me, renting the time has actually been really great because it's sort of got that sock knitting machine bug out of my system, and now I don't really want one because I can't see myself using it enough to invest that much money. So I'm not going to be buying a sock knitting machine, which is great. No big deal. I still have a little bit of time left on my month at Fiber Rhythms. So I am planning on going again this upcoming Monday to crank out a few more tubes just to kind of get my money's worth out of my month subscription for the time at the studio. And then I think I'm going to be done with it. So I'll have a lot of tubes. I have not yet put any heels or toes or cuffs on these tubes, but that'll happen. I'm not worried about it. Right now I'm just kind of taking the yarn in my stash that I'm not really feeling like knitting, that's been sitting there for a really long time, and I'm going to turn it into a bunch of tubes and we'll just deal with it, you know, later. And I'll add cuffs and heels and toes later, so that'll be fine. So that's kind of what's been happening. I've been doing a lot of circular, like I said, machine knitting. I don't have any finished objects to show you guys today. I have a lot of new cast-ons and new works in progress, and then some stuff that you guys, I haven't really worked on anything that I was working on last time I talked, except for my cross stitch, which I'll talk about that in a little bit. So everything, the socks that I was working on, I'm not sure what else I talked about last time, but yeah, so no finished objects. Let me just say too, if you're looking for me on the internet, you can find me on Instagram as Yarn and You. I'm on Ravelry as Yarn and You Girl. The website is yarnandyou.com. And yeah, I'm on Facebook a little bit, on Twitter a teeny bit, but not a ton. So those are the places that you'll find me. Thanks so much for coming in too if you're a new viewer and you're just checking me out. Thank you for spending a little time listening to my rambling. If you like the channel, please click the like button, subscribe to it. That would be great. And let's just get into knitting content today. So let's talk about the tubes of socks that I have been knitting. So the last time I had done a couple knit picks, Felici tubes, and I showed you guys those. And this time I decided, I kind of went through my stash and I picked up some yarn that I was going, you know, I don't think I had enough for like a full project, but maybe enough for just like a shorty pair of socks. And I was just going to crank it out in the tube. and see what happened. So this first tube is what I had left over from my Marielle Brioche cowl, the fingering weight version. This is hedgehog fiber sock in the fly colorway, and I did not enjoy knitting with this when I was making my cowl. Like, I loved the colors, and don't get me wrong, colors are amazing. I think I talked about how the yarn was quite splitty. So I thought, well, if I use the sock knitting machine, I can get a really, really tight gauge, because I didn't think that it would make a good pair of socks if I hand knit it, because I can't get my gauge like this tight. There's no way. But these are like amazingly tight now, and the sock knitting machine did a great job with it. So I'm definitely going to be able to get at least a shorty pair of socks out of this, because I still have to, so here's it folded in half. I still have to add heels and cuffs and toes. So I think that I'll be able to get a short pair of socks out of this. So that was one of the first tubes that I did. And then I had leftover yarn from the sweater that I just finished. That is that 70s sweater. That is being test knit right now too. So if you guys are waiting for that, it should be coming out soon. I'm giving my test knitters until the end of March. It is a sweater. It is a t-shirt sweater though, so hopefully it won't take very long. And yeah, so that's what's going on with that one. But this is the leftover yarn. This is nuclear on my alternative base. And I have this available as a dyed to order colorway on a couple different bases. There's a sparkle base. There is a, it's washing out really bad because it's white. But it's got like hot pink and black, and then a green, little bits of blue. It turned out really great, the tube. And I have some hot pink Hubba Bubba of my own, that the same I used for the striping that I'm going to use for heels, cuffs, and toes on this one. So that again will probably end up being a shorty pair of socks, because this is it folded in half. And with heels, cuffs, and toes, I think I'll have an ankle pair. So I'll have 2 ankle pairs out of these guys. And those were both done on the Erlbacher Gearhart Speedster machine at the Fiber Rhythms store. And these were done on the 72 stitch cylinder. And I had the gauge pretty tight on this one because the yarn is a 2-ply and it's real thin and splitty, and I didn't want it to be loose. And it's a little looser gauge on this, but I still think that it'll be comfortable, a comfortable pair of socks. And then I did this pair is, oh, let me grab the yarn ball band. Okay. So then I did this pair, this skein of yarn, which is Ancient Arts yarn. I got this in Canada a couple years ago when we went to Victoria. And so I got, this is Ancient Arts. It's their fingering sock. The color is Inuit Art, and it's an 80 superwash fine merino, 20% nylon fingering sock. It has 385 yards and 100 grams. And I did these, and I think these are going to be for my husband. So I've got some like navy blue that I think I'm going to use as heels, cuffs, and toes, and end up with a nice pair of socks for him. These were also done on the 72 stitch cylinder. I did these actually second because I thought, oh, well, he's a boy, so I'm going to switch to the 84 stitch cylinder, and because, you know, boys have big feet, right? And so I switched to the 84 stitch cylinder. Let me see if I can find the ball band for this one. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. It's like buried in all this stuff I have up here to show you guys. That's fine. It's Sassy Sheep and Red Maple is the colorway. I don't think Sassy Sheep actually dyes yarn anymore. I'm not sure. But I bought this at Oregon Flock and Fiber a couple years ago. And that's a big fiber festival here in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's in October or something like that. Or September. Anyway, so this is Red Maple. And it's Sassy Sheep. It was 100% superwash merino, I believe. And so this is on the 84 stitch cylinder. I don't know. Let's see if I can put these together and kind of show you guys. So there is a bit of a difference in the width of these. My husband seems to think that this Red Maple one is going to be too big. And it might be, but it was an experimentation. I decided looking at it, it looks really wide. I figured, you know, I did one of them, this one first, and then I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll go back down to the 72 stitch count, and we'll, you know, these were just a trial run kind of thing. But these are really nice. The yarn pulled out really pretty and kind of like a spirally stripe. So I really liked how it played out. It was so interesting because you don't know sometimes with variegated yarns how they're going to come out. It was in its hank. It was, you know, this dark kind of browny olive in a section, and then it had a little bit of red, and then it had this orange section, and then a little bit more red, and then, you know, the dark olive again. And it really pulled out really neat. And so I had no idea this is how it was going to come out. But I kind of like it. And it was very, you know, because I didn't end up doing anything but a tube, the pooling's very consistent. So cutting in a heel, adding toes and stuff, that will be, if I had added a heel to it on its own while I was working the tube, then your pooling and everything would have ended up way different. But I really liked the way the pooling worked out. So those will be also for my husband or my brother. He has kind of giant feet. So, yeah, I said you had giant feet, Jared, if you're listening, because you do. Yeah, they're really big. So anyway, these are going to be for some guy, maybe my brother. We'll see. So those are the tubes that I did recently. So again, I haven't cut in any heels, cuffs, and toes yet. That is going to be for a later date. I'm not going to focus on that right now. I'm just going to get some tubes out and then work on putting those in some other time. So that is my knitting machine experience for the time. I have started a couple new projects. I did sign up to get the Rose City Yarn Crawl Mystery Knit Along. I have not started that yet. I wanted to, and I was thinking about it, but I have a few other things on the needles right now, and I just didn't want to start something else and then just be spread really thin. So right now I have a sweater that I want to show you guys, a shawl that I'm working on, and then I started the baby pants that my friend had asked me to make. So I'm trying to work on that because she wants to buy them from me, and so I feel like I'm obligated to try to get them done at a specific, you know, quickly. Even though she said, you know, don't worry about it, I still want to move them, you know, get them done, because they feel like this looming deadline over my head. So I'll show you guys that. The yarn you haven't seen, I did get it from Knit Picks. I ordered some Swish DK, and these are the DOS Monster Pants. They're a free pattern on Ravelry. I cannot for the life of me say the designer's name. It's German, I think. And they are the baby pants that have the monster face on the butt. They, you know, have been kind of all over Pinterest, and she happened to see them and sent me a link and was like, hey, can you make these? So I'm doing the first pair for a girl, and I'm using these 3 colors. This light pink one is Knit Picks Swish DK in the Carnation color. And then I've got Rouge, this like dark pink, and then the green, which is Peapod. And I'm just randomly alternating things. I'm trying to be a little bit uniform, but anyway, it's kind of making a mess. So I've got the waist and the first leg started. So this is the front, and then this is the back with the mouth for the butt. And then you're supposed to like stitch on eyes afterwards. Some people, it looks like they might have done duplicate stitch for the eyes, duplicate stitch for the teeth on the mouth, and that kind of thing. Or they'll crochet some eyes or something like that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I altered the pattern just a little bit because it wanted you, because I was changing colors here, it wanted this part to be your front, and I didn't want that to be the front. I mean, I know that the eyes and stuff are in the back, and the focus is in the back, but I figured if I put my eyes and stuff over here, it will take away from like the jog of the color change, and I wanted the front to be kind of more uniform. You can't really tell. So I did change the front to be the back and the back to be the front. And so I sort of, messed with the pattern just a little bit. But I'm on the leg now. And I did, I alternated the pinks here. And I'm going to alternate the dark pink and the green here. And then do a light pink cuff at the bottom. So I'm getting close. I'm trying to decide, I'm trying to pay attention to how much time this is taking me to make, because I don't know what to charge her. I don't know. I have the hardest time with charging people for my hand knits because I feel like they take a really long time, and I feel like in order to really get value, I'd have to charge, in order to not, I'd have to charge like a ton, or I charge nothing, barely anything, or just enough to cover yarn and a little bit of time. But then at that point, I feel like I'm just working at slave wages, like, I don't know. It's really hard so I'm just trying to I'm just going to not think of it as a work. I'm thinking it more as a gift, and so I'm not going to charge like a ton for it, even though a lot of my time gets put into this. I don't understand how people can like make and knit things like this and not charge a ton of money. Like the time it takes me to do something like this is crazy. It's not economical, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it for the money. You know what I mean? I'm doing it because she asked me to. She wants to compensate me for it. So I'm just going to like double the cost of the yarn or something, because it's not like it's expensive yarn. So that way at least like she feel, it's a reasonable price without being exorbitant. Because I swear, like if it was me and I was trying to get paid for the time, these pants are going to cost like $100 at least. No, I'm not going to charge her $100, but you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's how much time it takes. And I think about my wage and what minimum wage is, and I'm not getting paid minimum wage probably even at, so say it's like $10 an hour. I think I've already put like 8 hours into this. Because I'm slow, so I can't charge people that. It's just ridiculous. People don't get how long it takes to do stuff like that. So I really think those people who are speed knitters, more power to you, but there's no way like I could do that as a business aspect. So when people ask me to do those things, I have to decide, okay, I'm not doing this for the money of the thing. I'm doing it for the enjoyment of the process. So I started those. I might end up making, I've got enough yarn, a couple different color schemes. So this is my first pair. I picked, I've got 6 other skeins of yarn, which I'll show in the knit picks. I'll show at the end with my acquisitions. And that will be sort of maybe other monster pants in the future. My sister-in-law, Kathleen, they just found out or just announced that they're pregnant again. So one of those might end up being monster pants for her new baby, something like that. So we'll see. I'm not sure how many pairs I'm going to end up doing for the gal who asked me to do them. But I got one. I told her I would at least do one. So this is one. And they are really cute. The striping is kind of annoying because I have to change the yarn all the time, but it's not like I have to go very far. I just have a little bit more and then I'll do the other leg. So these should be done by the next time I podcast. That was a long ramble. Sorry about, knitting and the cost of knitting. You can't really knit for profit. It just doesn't work. So the next thing I'm working on, I was really excited about starting. I've been seeing everybody's been doing this, so you're probably sick and tired of seeing everybody's Zweig sweaters, but I had to start one, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. And the neat thing about this one is I'm using that yarn from Ba La Jolla this is the lavender color, and then I dropped my other skein, sorry. And then the dragon's tail. And these were my breathing space cardigan, or not cardigan, breathing space sweater, the one that I ripped out. So I'm excited to be using it for something else. The other thing, so the Zweig is by Caitlin Hunter or Boyland Knitworks, and it is a yoke style sweater with a little bit of color work and a little bit of lace. I am just going slightly slowly with it. I'm about halfway through the lace section. I'm really, really liking it. I'm taking my time because I am also, normally I am a continental knitter or a picker, And on this one, I'm actually trying to develop my flicking knitting technique. So I am totally knitting differently on this sweater than I normally would. And the nice thing about that is that it's giving my hand and my arm just enough of a difference that it isn't bothering me as much. So that's exciting. Like I said, I'm halfway through the lace detail, and then I'll do one more color section, and then you work on to the body where it's just like a textured section. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. I'm very excited to have this sweater, but I am taking my time doing it. I am using US 5 ChowGoo red lace circulars, and like I said, the yarn is Ba La Jolla, which is a fingering weight 100% superwash merino. I do carry La Jolla in my shop in lots of colorways. I love this yarn. I love the colors that they come out with. They're just beautiful and usually very vibrant, and I've had just enjoy working with it. So I'm looking forward to having this sweater. Yeah. So that's the Zweig, and that's where I am on it currently. So someday soon, this will be a sweater. Yay! I really have been so loving working on this, but I've had to put it down and dedicate time to the monster pants. So it's not getting as much love as I would like, but I feel like I've made a good amount of progress. I didn't do a gauge swatch. I'm doing the Oh, I think I'm doing the small size. I think it ends up supposed to be a 36 bust, so hopefully that will work out. I feel like it should. I had a really hard time with the short row section. Because you do like short rows on part of the yoke, and then you're supposed to go around and pick them up, and they just looked a little messy, but I think I got them to the point where they're not as noticeable. I had to rip back and do it again. They're not as noticeable. I think what I should do is when I do short rows, I should do it like the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, because I really like the way that looks, and I know how to pick up those, or wraps kind of in the round a little bit better than the traditional wrap and turn, because it looks fine on one side, but on the side that I purled on and done the purl wrap, when you go to pick up again in the round, that stitch, I can't seem to get that wrap to be tight, and it ends up being very like a hole there. So I was trying to fix that a little bit, so that's why I ripped back and I ended up doing that part again. But I think I'm going to end up doing the twin stitch purl and the twin stitch knit from the Fish Lips Kiss Heel pattern when I do short rows in the future, especially for when I'm going to be then picking back up in the round for the sweater. So just my little struggle with short rows there. But yeah, so happy. Love this. And I've really been just love seeing everybody else's color choices and how people are doing with it. So that has been so much fun to work on. And then the last new knitting project that I have is my Exploration Station by Stephen West. And this one I'm doing in Ritual Dyes. I bought the yarn at Vogue Knitting Live in Seattle just recently. I'm trying to find all the color. I don't have all the tags, but this one is Maiden, and it is on her, oh no, sorry, it's the Maiden base, which is a fingering 2-ply, 80/20. Not sure which color this is. Dang it. I have two of the other tags, but I can't seem to find the other one. But that's okay. Maybe I can figure it out. So that one is one of the colors. Haha. This is Forage. I really like this one a lot. And then the last one is Belladonna, which is like a purple. And then I have a Hazel Knits Artisan sock in Aquarius, I believe, is the color for that one. So let me show you guys where I am. I'm still in the short row, like swoopy section. I don't know what you call that, but it's, where it goes on all the little short row bits. So I'm still in this section. I'm on the very last part, and I've got a really short needle, so I can't even like spread it out very well. I'm on the very last section right now with the ruby color, and I'm really liking how it's coming out. It's been fun. I kind of screwed up a little bit on this section. I placed my eyelets, I think, wrong, but you know what? I don't even care. My stitch count was fine. It just, the eyelets are slightly off from the other row, but nobody will ever notice, and it will still look great. And I have oodles of ends on this one, so that's kind of, that's going to be time consuming. But yeah, that's my Exploration Station. That's something that I've been wanting to knit for a long time. And when I went to Vogue Knitting Live, I specifically went looking for yarn to make that shawl. So I think it will end up being beautiful once it's all done. So that's, again, kind of slow. I've put that off to the side a little bit because I've been so enjoying the sweater. I've just been working on this kind of here and there. It's an easy knit though, so at least right now I don't really have to think about it. So it is something that I've been taking with me certain places. If I don't, you know, as long as I'm still in one color section, I'm doing fine with it, and I'm not needing to change anything up or worry about whether or not I, you know, what row I'm on, or, you know, where I am in the color scheme of things. So most of the time that's been pretty easy. So the other thing I've been working on a lot lately is my cross stitch project. And this is something that I've been doing. It's kind of a new thing for me, cross stitch. I don't remember ever doing this as a kid, although it's possible I did. But I wanted to have another craft that I could do while that would allow me to take a break from some of the knitting stress that I've been putting on my body. And so this has been really great. If I work on this for a day, and then the next day when I go to knit, I have less problems, less cramping, less finger numbness, because I have been getting a little numbness here. And changing up my knitting style too has also been very helpful for that. But this is a nice break as well. So this is Be Joyful. It's a design by Karla Dornacher, a needlework kit by Design Works Craft. And yeah, it's not a super big project, so it's going okay. I feel like I've been doing really well on it. So let me show you guys. This is where I am now. Last time I showed you guys, I had like the outline of one of the flowers. Well, I've gotten 2 of the flowers done, some of the leaves at the bottom now, and I've started the wording here down at the bottom. I ended up having to take my pinking shears and pink the Aida cloth because it was fraying so badly. Every time I would hold on to it, you know, while I was holding the hoop, it would fray at the edges, and I was really worried that it was going to get too small for the project. But so far, I think we're doing okay. I like it a lot. I've been enjoying working on it so much. So that's been taking up some of my time as well. I think this is going to end up being a gift. I don't know how long it will take me to do. I'm not rushing through it. I'm just kind of enjoying the process of it. That's been really great. And like I said, it's giving me a good break from knitting to kind of give me that rest that my body needs so much. Because sometimes I tend to overdo it a little bit. So that's all I have for craft content today. I will show you guys a couple of the acquisitions I got, the other color choices that I got for the monster pants, and then I did get some, I had ordered the knit picks like a while before the last episode, but I didn't get it in stock. So I also have some solids for in the stroll fingering for my heels and cuffs and toes of some of my socks. So that's in this acquisition order as well. So I did get, let's see. So I got for a boy color set these 3. So this is honey, and this gray is marble heather, and then I think this is like forest heather. I was kind of getting it in mind for my sister-in-law's little boy, Jameson. They're Oregon Duck fans, so these were like Oregon Duck colors as well as boy colors. But the pattern might not be big enough. The pants might not be big enough for him. So they might end up being made and then given to the gal who wants me to knit some monster pants for her, or depending on what the sex is of my sister-in-law's new baby, if it's a boy, I might keep this pair and gift them to her as a baby shower gift or whatever. So that's one of the sets. And then the other set I got is these three. I'm on this yellow and green kick. So this is that Peapod again, and this is Amethyst Heather, and then Honey. And I liked those. I thought those were good together too. And it depends on how much of the pinks I have left. I might end up throwing in some rose pink with this one. I'm not sure. I kind of went for girly colors, except for that pair right there. So I'm not sure if she's going to want a boy pair or not. But she's getting girl pairs right now. That's all there is to it. And then the other two I got were just some straw fingering in a navy and straw fingering in ash. So I just thought these would be really good for heels and cuffs and toes for some of my socks for my from the sock knitting machine class. I do have one project that I've been wanting to cast on for a really long time as well that might be coming up in the near future, and that's the Kobuk hat by Caitlin Hunter. That is it's a DK weight yarn held together with some mohair, and it has these lovely baubles all over it, and I just am in love with baubles. I think baubles are amazing. And I've been looking, trying to figure out what yarn to use. I did get the mohair already. I've got this Shibu Silk Cloud. It's a silk, 40 silk, 60 kid mohair, which I thought would be really pretty. And then I was trying to figure out what to pair it with. I might end up pairing it with a fingering weight, and then just making, she has a couple sizes, so then I just might make the larger size and see if that fits my head. But I was thinking of pairing it with Carrie's from the Creative Obsession, her couch potato, because the couch potato has this lovely teal in it as well, and I think that the teal is going to be kind of a predominant color. But I was thinking of wanting to pair it with this to kind of see how it turned out. So I'm not sure. That's kind of the idea I have in my head right now. I was looking at them together. I thought that would be really pretty. It might mute out the couch potato color too much. I'm not sure. So I might just do a little gauge swatch too to kind of see what I think of the two of them together. But that is, I need a new hat. I think that would be a great combination. And that's all I got today for you guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel and watching my little video. I hope you have a great weekend. It's Super Bowl Sunday here in the United States coming up. Be safe, have lots of chicken wings, and I'll see you guys later.